Forgive me, I'm not well. Normally I wouldn't even attempt to do a recording in this condition. Today's gospel is far too important. So just forgive this poor old man. 10 days left, 10 years left, I don't know. But as I say, this gospel is too important. Let me screen share. Okay, if you go to my website, go to the liturgy section. This the Carmelite Missale Romanum. It's a very valuable tool, this one. Proper prefaces to Our Lady, St. Elias. You just download it and keep it stored. You might find a good priest one day who'll say masses from it. Like the transferal of the body of St. Therese. A Avila, that is. Okay. Now if you go to Dominica Quarta, okay, you scroll down. Now, the Sundays after Pentecost are calculated on Easter, obviously. Okay, now, towards the end of these Sundays after Pentecost, you get all these extra masses here. Okay. That's to impose into any missing Sundays before Advent starts. Okay, now, today is the 24th Sunday after Pentecost, Dominica Vigésima Quarta. Okay, now if you go to today's Gospel, Sequentia Sancti Evangelii Secundum Matthew, Matthew 24, 15 to 35. Okay, so I'll get out of here. Just trying to remember 1535. I'll have to screen share again. Let's bring up, okay, this is Matthew 24, 1535. Bear with me. This particular gospel reading is so important. When therefore you shall see the abomination of desolation, which is spoken of by Daniel, the prophet, standing in the holy place, he that readeth him, let him understand. Just thinking of our Lord as he says this, talking to his church, to his children. Now, by the way, non-Catholic commentator commented about Matthew that he knew some kind of shorthand because he was a tax collector. He needed something like that. If you read Emmerich, quite often our Lord would tell his apostles, now it's 3 years training these 12 guys to spread his church all over the world. And listen, they walked everywhere, they didn't drive, and he just stopped and he talked to them and teach them. And one of the things he said to them was to write down what he said. Now, a lot of commentators would like to give you the impression that the Jews of that time were quite ignorant. No, there were schools everywhere. All their Judaic schools, he often visited these schools. So they weren't dummies, okay? Not like me. Then they that are in Judea, let them flee to the mountains. Now in the back of your mind, keep in mind the apocalypse. And he that is in the housetop, let him not come down to take anything out of his house. And he that is in the field, let him not go back to take his coat. Now, different attires in those days, like some readings of the apostles in the fishing boats, they take off the outer clothing and they just work in the inner clothing. Obviously, this is a reference to going to the field. You take off the outer clothing and you go to work. And he's saying, don't even go those 50 metres to pick up your cloak. And woe to them that are with child and give suck in those days. But pray that your flight not be in winter or on the Sabbath. For there shall be then great tribulations, such as have not been from the beginning of the world unto now, neither shall be. I'm going to go to my website later on. Unless those days be shortened, no flesh shall be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days shall be shortened. Now, this particular verse, keep in mind Apocalypse 12. Our Lady in the Desert. I'll take you to my website where I comment on that further. Pardon me. I don't think I'll be seeing those days. I think I'll be long gone before then. Then if any man shall say to you, oh, here is Christ, or there, do not believe him. For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall grow great signs and wonders, insomuch as to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Now remember, in the apocalypse, we're going to have my mind suddenly goes blank. What am I talking about? There's two figures of the apocalypse. The false prophet, which is the latter part, and the great leader. Forgive me, I've forgotten that these terms just don't come to my febrile mind. It'll be on my website. Behold, I've told you beforehand. If therefore they shall say to you, behold, he is in the desert, go ye not out. Behold, he is in the closets, believe it not. For as lightning cometh forth out of the east and appeareth even in the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Obviously, it will be very, very visible. Now, on that score, Garabandal talks of, I'm brain dead, I'm sorry, the great sign in the sky. Will that come or not? I don't know. I have no light on that. If we're heading straight in the apocalypse, it won't happen. Wheresoever the body shall be, there shall the eagles also be gathered together. What is the body? I have no light on that. And immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give a light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be moved. I think we'll have to live through that to understand it. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with much power and majesty. And he shall send his angels with a trumpet and a great voice. They shall gather together his elect from four winds, from the farthest parts of the heavens to the utmost bounds of them. And from the fig tree and a parable. When the branch thereof is now tender and the leaves come forth, you know the summer is nigh. So you also, when you see all these signs, know ye that it is nigh, even at the doors. And we're talking about a lot of signs, but they're all coming together. Amen. I say to you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. Now, when you read in the Bible a reference to this generation, understand from the fall of Adam to the last day. It's not referring to a specific group of people at this time. Heaven and earth shall pass, but my word shall not pass. But of that day and hour, no one knoweth. No, not the angels of heaven, but the Father alone. It's very important. I think of death a lot, because obviously I'm quite sick. Quite often I'm talking to my father, and I say to him, you know the hour, you will choose when. I'm happy. Now, regarding the demons, they don't know our future. They can only guess our future. That's very important. And in the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the man be. Now, I'm going to go to my website soon. It's very important to understand, as in the days of Noah. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, even till that day in which Noah entered the ark. Some even put on that phrase, eating and drinking, cannibalism, the perversities that were going on pre-flood. I maintain the flood was all the universe. That's why Mars is so desolate. And they knew not the flood came and took them all away, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Then two shall be in the field, one shall be taken, one shall be left. Two women shall be grinding in the mill, one shall be taken, one shall be left. Watch ye therefore, because you know not what hour your Lord will come. Going back about 15 years, I was broken into. Okay, I just come home from work. It was after midnight. Had the wash machine going outside. And just a sort of a screen door, earphones on. And whilst I sat in another room eating, someone came in and stole my wallet from a bench. Quite often the thought has gone through my head, if I had have known that person was entering, what would I have done? when I've got a big stick. God help me that I never take a human life. I was a soldier once, a few months off going to Vietnam, but it was all called off, fortunately. The thought of taking a human life is something that tortures me. But this know ye that if the good man of the house knew at what hour the thief would come, would certainly watch and would suffer his house to be broken open. Wherefore be you also ready, because at what hour you know that the Son of Man will come. You know not the Son of Man will come. Who thinkest thou is a faithful and wise servant whom his Lord has appointed over his family to give them meat in season. Blessed. I've gone way past the, anyway, read this yourself. I think it was 35, today's gospel. Anyway, it's a very, very important gospel. Okay, I'm going to screen share again. Yeah, he's talking about Jerusalem and the fall of Jerusalem. If you go to YouTube and just type in destruction of Jerusalem, it's very intriguing to see the problems the Romans had, the fight of the Jews against it. Anyway, just type it in. Now, if you go to my website, essen.org. Okay, I made a reference to liturgy, there it is. But if you go to Apocalypse Now, this is over 200 pages. And if you want to print it out to read later, just go up to print, and you can print it out. It doesn't get many views, but it doesn't matter. As long as I leave behind some historical, my comments from my time, Now, if you go to this one here, John's and Monsters, a historical perspective. Okay, it's long. It's got biblical references. Why am I bringing this up? Did our Lord not say, as in the days of Noah? I guarantee you, if you take the time to sit down and study this, you will be greatly enlightened. Okay, now I maintain the last true pope was John Paul II, due to the invalidity of the episcopal rite of consecration. Along comes this guy Francis. Somebody asked him about aliens. What would he do? He says he'd baptise them. Now, if you study this page, you'll see that all these extraterrestrials, UFOs, were dealing with things demonic. If you don't want to sit down and study these matters, may God help you. Bye for now.